Have you ever wondered what really pulls the strings of the global economy? Beyond the headlines and stock market tickers, there's a hidden world of power, control, and influence. This is the story of the covert alliances and invisible networks that architect our international commerce. In today's digital age, the very fabric of global trade is being rewoven. Power dynamics are shifting away from traditional institutions and into the hands of new, often unseen players. We're talking about a world where the flow of goods and money is no longer just about container ships and bank transfers. It's about data, algorithms, and decentralized systems. Take cryptocurrencies, for example. They are revolutionizing how assets are transferred within these hidden networks. Suddenly, value can move across borders in seconds, bypassing old financial gatekeepers. This creates incredible efficiency, but also opens doors to activities that operate in the shadows, far from regulatory oversight. It's a double-edged sword that's reshaping finance as we know it. And the battlefield has changed, too. Cyber attacks are the new frontier of international conflict. A single, well-placed digital strike can cripple a nation's infrastructure or disrupt a multinational corporation's entire supply chain. This isn't science fiction. It's the reality of modern geopolitics, where a line of code can be as powerful as a battleship. But this new landscape isn't just for governments and corporations. Decentralization is empowering social movements around the globe. Activists are using these new tools to organize, communicate, and bypass censorship, creating grassroots networks that can challenge established power structures. The same technology that facilitates covert trade can also fuel a revolution. For anyone in international business, understanding these complex trade networks is no longer optional. It's essential for survival. How can you plan your strategy when the rules are constantly being rewritten by unseen forces? The key is to look deeper, to understand the community structures that form the backbone of these networks. Analyzing these communities reveals who trades with whom, who holds the influence, and where the vulnerabilities lie. The economic significance of the global trade network is immense, directly impacting the prosperity and relationships of every country. It's a web where a single tremor can be felt across the entire globe. But what shapes this web in the first place? It's a mix of structural factors. The formation of trade relationships isn't random. It's influenced by a potent cocktail of geography, politics, and even culture. Proximity still matters, but so do political alliances and shared cultural values. Two countries might be neighbors, but if their political systems clash, trade can grind to a halt. Conversely, nations halfway across the world can form powerful trading blocs based on shared interests and trust. Cultural influences are the subtle, often underestimated force in global trade. How business is conducted, how relationships are built, and how trust is earned can vary dramatically from one culture to another. These unwritten rules can make or break a deal, shaping the very flow of commerce in ways that don't show up on a spreadsheet. So to make sense of this complexity, experts use sophisticated tools like exponential random graph models. These models help us analyze why certain trade ties form while others don't, giving us a clearer picture of the underlying architecture of the global economy. They show us that the evolution of this network isn't driven by one single thing, but by a multitude of interconnected factors, all working at once. And right now, that network is under immense strain. Geopolitical tensions are causing massive disruptions to supply chain efficiency. When major powers clash, the ripple effects are felt everywhere. Suddenly, a reliable shipping route becomes a no-go zone, or a critical component is no longer available. These shifts in international alliances are forcing a complete rethinking of trade routes and sourcing strategies. The paths that goods have traveled for decades are being redrawn overnight. Companies are scrambling to adapt, looking for new partners and new pathways to get their products to market. This has given rise to new concepts like friendshoring. Friendshoring is the idea of moving supply chains to allied or friendly countries to reduce geopolitical risk. Instead of just looking for the cheapest supplier, companies are now prioritizing stability and security. This is fundamentally altering supplier relationships on a global scale, creating new winners and losers in the international trade game. In this volatile environment, supply chain resilience is paramount. The old model of just-in-time manufacturing with minimal inventory is proving fragile. The new mantra is diversification and visibility. Companies can no longer rely on a single source for critical components. They need to spread their risk across multiple suppliers in different regions. And they need real-time visibility into their entire supply chain to anticipate and react to disruptions before they become crises. But individual companies can only do so much. This is where collective industry advocacy comes in. By banding together, businesses can influence trade policies and create a more stable and predictable environment for everyone. Trade associations and industry groups are becoming crucial players, lobbying governments and shaping the rules of the game. Perhaps the most dramatic example of these disruptions is the impact of economic sanctions. When sanctions are imposed, they act like a wrench thrown into the gears of the global economy. They can lead to immediate shortages and wild price volatility for critical resources, from energy to microchips. These disruptions don't just stay at the corporate level, they hit all of us. Disrupted trade routes mean it costs more to ship everything, and those costs are passed directly onto you and me in the form of higher prices and inflation. The sticker shock you feel at the grocery store or the gas pump can often be traced back to a geopolitical decision made thousands of miles away. Financial sanctions add another layer of complexity. Imagine trying to run a business where you suddenly can't pay your international suppliers. This is the reality for many companies caught in the crossfire of sanctions, straining global supply chains to the breaking point. It creates a web of logistical and financial nightmares. Ultimately, sanctions can isolate entire nations from the global economy. This leads to severe shortages of essential goods, from medicine to food, causing costs to skyrocket for ordinary citizens. It's a powerful tool of foreign policy, but one with profound human consequences. For businesses, the added costs of logistics and compliance with these complex sanction regimes are a significant burden, making international trade more expensive and much riskier. All of this turmoil forces a shift in market dynamics. Demand patterns change, and companies have to adjust their pricing strategies to survive. The global trade network is not a static system. It is a living, breathing entity that is constantly adapting to the pressures of politics, technology, and human ambition. The hidden networks, the covert alliances, and the invisible forces at play are the true architects of our modern world. Understanding them is the key to navigating the future. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive into the hidden world of global commerce. If you found this fascinating, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more content that uncovers the unseen forces shaping our world. See you next time.